Here we go.
Invincible.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into some Saturday Night Money Racing. It is the inaugural race for the Little Dog, Big Dog series, and thank you all so much for coming out to watch. You are watching Austin Green on Ghost Racing Network. Boy, do we have a lot to talk about in the introduction to this series. Format that you've probably never seen before in iRacing, especially when it comes to money racing. We'll talk about all that and more, but before we do that, let's head right down trackside and get started with your starting grid here for the night. Jason Maines, he will take the pole with a 55.6. Nice lap for Jason. To his outside, his teammate and son, Garrett Maines. Ken McCall Jr. rolls off from third. It's going to be Aubrey Thompson back in fourth. John Ward starting fifth. David Sheets to his outside in sixth. Nash Brambilla seventh with John Mullihan in eighth. Michael Triscaro, he'll roll off ninth, and it's Kenneth Stamper rounding out your top 10. Row number 6 will be Justin Mills and Zach Range. Moving on back to that 13th position, it's Steve Sizemore alongside Larry McDonald. He'll roll off 14th. Heath Job in 15th. Sean Corbett 16th. Logan York, Ryan Bass making up row 9. Rounding out your top 20, it's going to be Richard Elliott and Jeff Merck for NBG Motorsports. John Darnell rolls off 21st in the Ghost Racing Network machine tonight. Danny Barnes 22nd. Samuel Carter in 23rd. Mark Vondell in 24th. Dallas Knox 25th. Jeremy Osborne in 26th. Josh Gambro in 27th. Tucker McClendon 28th. Dustin Carruthers in 29th. And Carl Matz rounding out your top 30. Dylan Jones in 31st. Joshua McCall 32nd. J.R. Miller back in 33rd. Christopher McCall 34th. Tyler Vickery in 35th. Joshua Thornton in 36th. And rounding out the field tonight, 37 trucks, it is Devin Ray in the 22 machine. Looking at your race info back at Talladega Superspeedway for the opening race. But look at the track temp. That's the thing that's going to catch your eye right away. 146 degrees. These guys are going to be struggling big time here tonight. Fishtailing all over the place. But yes, it is race 1 of 9 for the Little Dog, Big Dog series presented by McCall Motorsports Money Racing. Weather outside 87 degrees, 14% humidity, clear skies, winds at 1 mile an hour. We're in the Craftsman Truck Series. Tonight's race, and every race except for the championship, going to be 40 laps. We'll talk more about the schedule later on in the race. 50% fuel. Everybody does have, I believe it's actually unlimited tires, not 5. They have 1 fast spare if you need it, and then of course fixed setups as always. 3 green white checkers to add on to that. So breaking down the series here, the starting thing you need to know is that every driver that is considered a big dog when it comes to the money racing scene for this series was randomly paired with one of the guys who maybe is a little bit newer, less experienced, or is just considered one of the smaller dogs, the guys who we don't see cash out as much, maybe doesn't have teammates. And tonight, as they are all paired with random guys, you will see different letters on the scoring tower. For example, Jason Maines, he has an I. Nash Brambilla has a J, so on and so forth. 2 drivers have the same letter, each driver with the corresponding letter, and the other driver, they are teammates. Here we go. Green flag is in the air. We are racing at Talladega. Right off the get-go, it's a good rolling start for Jason Maines and Garrett Maines. Again, teammates normally not here tonight. In fact, we'll have to talk again more about this. It's going to be a little confusing probably the first couple races you watch, but each of these guys have their own teammate, and we'll talk about the pairs a little bit. But right now you see Jason Maines, he's got the I. He's going to be looking for his other teammate, and that'll be the other driver on the scoring tower that has an I next to their name, so on and so forth. Garrett Maines, he's an O, and as he takes the lead, he'll be looking for his teammate Jeremy Osborne, who is back in 25th. And at the end of the season, the team with, I believe it's the highest averaging finishing position combined together will go home with a lot of money. Those payouts, another thing we'll talk about later in the broadcast. But everything else still going to be racing per usual. We still have the nightly payouts. And right now, as they're working their way, coming across the start-finish line to complete lap 1, it will be Jason Maines retaking the lead on the bottom. He's getting a push right now from Ken McCall Jr. in the 03, another one of the team captains. Aubrey Thompson on the outside. Now Jason Maines, he'll jump right up to the top. Nobody looking 3 wide just yet. Everybody, I think, going to stay patient. 50% fuel is not that long at a track like Talladega. I think we'll see everybody make it probably right around 15 to 16 laps, depending on if you're leading or back here in the draft. Maybe stretch it all the way back to even 17. But you can't go much further than that. And I think as a result, everybody will just stay 2 by 2 for the moment. Some of the pairs to keep your eye on. I don't think everybody that they consider little dogs or should necessarily be considered little dogs. But right now, you still got the big guys running up front, some of the little guys towards the back, but some of them slowly try to make their way to the front already. Aubrey Thompson up to 5th. Nash Brambilla, he's in 6th. Another one of the team captains. There's David Sheets in 7th. Michael Triscaro back at 8th. And John Mullihan in 9th. Justin Mills rounding out your top 10. Further back you go. Now we're going to start to see a little three-wide action. Jeff Merck, he is not one of the drivers actually running the championship. However, we do still have an in-race payout. So that's what he's going for, and he wants to go right to the front right away as he works the outside. He's going to get a little bit of help. A couple other guys looking to go to the front. They're going to get some more. Zach Range, he'll jump to the outside in the 043 truck. John Darnell up there as well, along with the 85 of Samuel Carter. Talking about John Darnell, he is Jason Maine's teammate. Jason Maines, who actually fell back a couple spots, now back to 5th. And that's because the racing action up front is picked up. Ken McCall Jr. and John Ward both found a way to jump up top. And that has now put Nash Brambilla and Michael Triscaro shuffled up to the front on the inside. Zach Range still trying to make it work. I think they're finally going to have to duck back down in line. They do just that behind John Mullahan. John Ward, the Hyper Motorsports captain, his teammate for this series is going to be Larry McDonald back in the 80 truck. Larry McDonald already up to 8th, so that is currently the highest running pair at the moment. Again, things going to change all through the night, but right now it is still John Ward up front, Nash Brambilla in 2nd. Let's go back here. Josh Gambrone, another one of the newer guys to the money racing scene, and he figured he'd give this championship a try. You see he's got the M next to his name. He is going to be going up closer to the front, searching for his teammates. And the other M that we have in the field here tonight, I believe it actually might be, it was Christopher McCall. Again, I still have to keep tabs on these guys and kind of figure it out as well. And actually not. Christopher McCall B, he is teammates with Dustin Carruthers. Boy, that's a powerful team in itself. And actually, I think Josh Gambrone, his teammate is not here tonight. Not sure exactly who it was, but he's going to be running by himself, so he will need a win to help keep him up in points. We'll see what he can capture. Up front, 3x3. Garrett Maines now leads the middle line. John Ward behind. Zach Range was able to give a push, get that one clear. Nash Brambilla still on the bottom with a push from Michael Triscaro. And those two Team PGR teammates on the bottom, not teammates so much tonight, but I think there's still going to be a little bit of alliance between teams, right? I mean, Nash Brambilla, he's got nowhere to go anyway. Michael Triscaro is going to feel a little bit more comfortable pushing his teammate than anybody else here tonight. And so as Garrett jumps back down to the bottom, that'll give John Ward a chance to cool down. Remember, got the win over just last Thursday in the PGR 2023 Series Championship. And so he's on a hot streak, looking to extend on it here tonight. John Darnell still that 3rd truck on the outside. He has been committed there. Even when some guys have dropped down, more guys have came up, and now Aubrey Thompson and John Mullahan have tagged on to the back, and that'll extend that line, give them a little bit more momentum up top as well. Looks like it's the 1. We see Dylan Jones in the middle of the pack. He's actually going to hop up once a little of this action. That's Steve Sizemore, another one of the newer drivers that we're not used to seeing, but figured he'd give himself a chance by hopping in this championship battle. His teammate is J.R. Miller in the 78, who is actually not in the lead pack. You got to wonder what happened to this group, as they have fallen pretty far behind and just in 33rd. Actually go up a little bit further here, make it 32nd. Carl Matz, he has fallen off the leaders, as well as Tyler Vickery. And both of those two are not in the Little Dog Big Dog Series Championship. They are out here running for the nightly payout, which I believe is pretty good tonight. I heard rumors of maybe, might have been 100 top 4. We'll take a look at that as the race goes on. We do have some driver cams here on the night for guys that we're not used to seeing. And in fact, one of the guys we just talked about, Tyler Vickery, back in that 32nd spot. He is carrying a driver cam. We'll look at him here in just a moment. But as we go back up front, 3x3 has not simmered down too much. Only 2 rows deep, though, now, as it looks like John Darnell, not sure if he just ran out of temps or if something happened, but he has faded a little bit as Ken McCall Jr. has taken over the lead in the middle. Jumped up, and now he is going to have a chance to take it into turn 3 as they climb. Again, over 30 degrees of banking here at Talladega. A lot of pushing down the straights, but the track temp, that was the thing that worried me tonight. And that could be why that 3rd lane was rolling as well as it did, but is why temps are getting as hot as they are. Big moment right there for Nash Brambilla off of turn 4. He had to catch it. His teammate Michael Triscaro behind him was able to give him a moment to do so. But not a lot of fishtailing right now. I think it's just a battle of everybody trying to stay cool. Again, if you missed right off the start, we see a lot of crazy track temps, 147, almost 150 degrees. The temperature of the pavement that these guys are racing on right now, you can imagine that's going to wear the tires out a lot more, and ultimately that is going to get these engines hotter a lot quicker. You got to find some fresh air, so it's very important here, if you're Garrett Maines or on the top line right now, John Ward, to make sure that you are properly swapping back and forth, controlling these lanes. You stay in one too long, that lane's going to overheat, and you are going to go to the back. So as they stay side by side, Jason Maines, he jumped up. He's ready to take a shot at trying to get back to the front. Doing just that. Him and Garrett have both been up here just about since the start of the race. No surprise. And we talked about it's the average finish And so it's a little different. While, again, there is going to be the weekly payouts. If you got your eyes on the prize for later in the season when we're going to see the big payouts, then I think it's important that you start right now trying to get good finishes. Here's a look first at Jeff Merck on the night. One of the drivers that we saw is not running in the series championship, but is still running for weekly payouts. He's got a good run so far. He's already up 11 spots from where he started as he moves into the top 10 and takes that 8th position. A little shocked that Jeff didn't choose to one of the veterans of Money Racing. We know how much talent he's got. Thought for sure he'd hop in here and try to be a captain and maybe help one of these guys that we don't see too much up towards the front. Get a chance at some big money for himself. And oh, he gets turned hard into the wall. Goes to 60 of Merck. We caught it on driver cam, and he was not too happy about it. Unfortunate break right there for Jeff Merck. Looks like he's going to be the only truck involved, and he is destroyed. You see the head shake and disappointment right there. He can't believe it. Neither can I. These guys were 2x2 with no issues. You see Ken McCall Jr. at the front, and then all of a sudden, things went really south really quickly. He was able to get back rolling, and he'll have to go straight to the pits for repairs, and that'll be his one fast repair. Again, I'm assuming these guys have one. We'll know right here based on if Jeff Merck's able to get it fixed. So keep an eye on the 60 truck here. We're going to go down a little bit further. This is coming through turns 3 and 4. That's John Ward just above him. Ooh, there's some contact, and the 60, boom, hard into the outside wall. Gets lifted up on his side before he lands back on all 4. John Ward took a pretty big hit in that as well. But does he come up a little bit, or does John Ward come down a little bit? Saw Jason Maines run really close here behind John Ward. Does he bump him? It doesn't look like it. It looks to me like Jeff Merck maybe just working up the track a little bit right there. Watch his left side tires. So here you go. In fact, we'll go to the chopper view, get a little better angle of this one. So there's Jeff Merck, the middle of your screen. Right now, he's right about the middle, kind of straddling that first seam on the bottom, that striped white line. You see John Ward, the right side tires, just slightly below that white line on the top. Gets up a little bit, John Ward, but yeah, it's just Merck starting to come up, and then I think he gets caught with a little bit of the right rear net code. That combination not too good together, but yeah, Merck was definitely moving up here just a little bit. And unfortunately, once they get connected together here, 60 is going to go for a pretty hard shot into the outside wall. And then we talked about John Ward with heavy contact as well. Merck did slide down. That was a close call for Joshua McCall and a couple others. They were all able to escape, though. No extra damage there. Let's take a couple different angles of this one. Mark Von Dell, I think that was? No. That's going to be one of the newer drivers that we actually had in the field here tonight that was able to just escape that one. If we go to the wall cam for this, actually, I'll take that back. We're going to go back to the TV follow, take one more look at this. And man, just nothing that John Ward could do there. We see it a lot. We saw it in PGR on Thursday night when Matthew Baker was commentating with me along with Dawson Wise. I know people get mad when we blame it on netcode. I'm not blaming it fully on netcode, as we certainly saw Merck wash up. But unfortunately, I think you just can't run that close this early. And when Merck slightly slipped up, he unfortunately had to pay the ultimate price for it. The fans had a good view of this one as it came out of turn 4. It's the first wreck of the night. Again, for it to have only collected 2 trucks, for as bad as it looked like it was going to be initially, I think that's a win for about 90% of the field. And Merck, sure enough, uses that one fast spare. He'll bring it back down for tires and some extra fuel before he catches the field as we get ready to go back green. No, it doesn't look like we got the one to go yet. So these guys will go around at least one more time. Garrett Maines being scored as your leader. Nash Brambilla second. Ken McCall Jr. in third. Justin Mills in fourth. And Michael Triscaro currently rounding out your top 5. And again, for anybody just tuning in, it's a little tricky to keep track of. But how this series works, again, called the Little Dog, Big Dog series. And what it is, you're pairing up some of the better drivers, maybe some of the less experienced, or drivers that don't have teammates and don't quite get to score in the money as much. So you see big names such as Garrett Maines. He's got an O next to his name on the scoring tower. And he's got one other driver. This was done by random selection that also has an O next to their name, Jeremy Osborne. They're going to be working together for all of these 9 races. And if combined, they have the highest average finish in total, or highest average points, however you want to say it, at the end of the season, then they will be going home with a ton of money. In fact, let's take a look at what the payouts are going to be here. Actually, I'll break them down for you just a little bit. This was a series that a lot of people caught on to. They liked the look of it. And at the end of the season, the team that takes home first place will be going home with $700. You split that between 2 people. If you do it half and half, that's $350 a driver. That's a pretty good payout when you look at it. Second place will be going home with $500. Third, 400, and fourth will be going home with $320. And then weekly payouts as well is going to be 100 to first through fourth. The championship fund, I believe, goes $200 per race as well. And we talked about 9 races. Looking at the schedule, we'll talk more about it later. But next week, these guys are going to head to Daytona International Speedway, and that will be for 40 laps as well. But in the Xfinity Series, they will swap back and forth between Talladega, Daytona, and Atlanta, New Atlanta. And, of course, they'll be switching between the Craftsman Truck Series and the Xfinity Series. Just a really cool series overall. I like what Ken McCall Jr. and the rest of McCall Motorsports came up with here in deciding to put this series on. I think it's kind of spread through some of the other series we see. Of course, we know the well-known now multiple seasons that we've seen of the Little Guy Series over in John Ward Dega Pros Money Racing. And then Jeffrey Ford over at FEG PC. Saw posters today that he's going to be starting up, I believe it's called Week Sauce Series, again, for some of the drivers that don't get to maybe make as much money in the bigger races with a lot of these big teams. And they'll have a chance to go out there and duke it out between themselves and some of the other smaller teams and have a chance to win some money. Looking at some of the people that are tuning in here tonight. Looks like Racing Gal in Florida says hello. Good to see you, Racing Gal. Good luck, drivers. And Rosta also says, ouch. And yeah, you got that right. Jeff Merck was not happy about it, but he got it repaired. He's back out here. We'll see what strategy he decides to take. Does he go immediately back to the front? Or does he hang back just a little bit? 40 laps, not that long of a race here, but 12 laps in, still expecting at least one, I believe 2 green flag stops. And yeah, these guys can make it about 16 laps. That'll be about 28 in total is when they'll run out for the next stop. And after that, they can get, should be about another 16. So that would actually, yeah, I take it back. It's going to be one more stop from here. And we expect that next stop right around lap 28. I think you could pit a couple earlier as soon as that fuel window opens if you want to try some strategy. And that's going to be its whole thing as well, because we talk about strategy. We don't have big teams tonight. You got one teammate. Do you pit with them, or does the whole field try to pit as a group? We're going to find out. Here we go. Back to green flag racing at Talladega. Right off the get-go, it's going to be a pretty even jump for Garrett Maines and Nashper and Billa. Neither lane going to get the advantage just yet. Ken McCall Jr. quickly able to roll up to the back bumper, but on the outside, the 4 of... Actually, that's one of the guys that we haven't seen as much due to no longer being one of the Hyper Motorsports drivers, Justin Mills. But he burst onto the money scene, I want to say, a little bit more recently. Him, Richard Elliott, and Aubrey Thompson left Hyper Motorsports just the other night. Still finding a lot of success as of recent, but don't look now. Here comes Mr. Logan York. Him and Michael Triscaro, I think right now, are still combined for some of the highest running guys. We think, and actually, I got that mixed up. I meant to say Nashper and Billa and Logan York, the 2 teammates. 2 maybe unlikely teammates as well. Nashper and Billa, of course, one of the Team PGR drivers. Is Ken McCall Jr. got shuffled off the track. This is going to fan him out. 3 wide as Brambilla gets up top. He's going to drop below Garrett Maines. Slams the door on the 1. That top line's going to lose a whole lot of momentum. Justin Mills only help now from Jason Maines as they cross the line for 14 laps complete. And that middle for a second only had 2 trucks. Ken is still out of shape. Man, I'm not sure if he's just getting a push he doesn't want, or that truck is just not handling well. Zach Range with a hard side draft as he will now get a run on Nashper and Billa, and he is going to push Garrett Maines right on clear off of turn number 2 as they go down the Alabama gang back straightaway. Logan York tags on and extends. This is going to get Garrett clear by a mile. Maybe Zach Range as well. No, Zach doesn't take it. He chooses to stay up. And you got to wonder if the one dropped down because he wanted that lane or if he thought Zach Range was getting hot. Either way, it'll give the 043 a chance to cool those temps down just a little bit. As we look back further in the pack, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but Tyler Vickery, one of our drivers with an onboard camera for us here tonight. Another one of the new drivers. First onto the money scene as of recent. Not running the Little Dog Big Dog series, but he is out here tonight running for those weekly payouts. And last but certainly not least, the man who we see run it just about every time he's got the opportunity to, and that is Michael Triscaro. PGR Series owner, Team PGR owner. And right now, the man running 3rd on the bottom, 6th overall. Looking for his first win in the series, as is everyone tonight. And looking to take home $100 and help secure his team a better position for the end of the season. Garrett Maines still rolling. He jumped back up to the top, but he just as quickly gets back down to the bottom by the end of the straightaway. John Mullihan and Aubrey Thompson starting to roll up on the outside. And interestingly enough, this is the first 2 teammates that we've actually seen get locked up together. John Mullihan and Aubrey Thompson, and I was wondering when we were going to see this at a certain point. You know the saying of teammates, you got to get locked together, find your teammate, go to the front. But I didn't know if anybody would try that tonight. Figured maybe they'd work with the guys they're used to working with, but here you go. Aubrey Thompson and John Mullihan, they have found each other, and so if either one of them wants to make a move, they're already going to have 2 trucks, and I think they'll maybe be able to draw some help from a couple more. So right now, already seeing some strategy play early from 2 of the drivers, John Mullihan and Aubrey Thompson. Big fishtail and going down the backstretch. Second place on the inside, Ken McCall Jr. He has been all out of shape, and it's just been all pushing Nashper and Billa. I think he's trying to find any sort of air he can. Oh, little contact out back, wrecking big. Contact for Justin Mills. Oh, he's upside down. Quickly back on all 4 as more slide in. Trying to dodge it further back to 27, gets spun around. Caution is back out, second one of the night. And the main victim in this one is going to be Justin Mills. That was Tucker McClendon, who got turned around late. Justin Mills, though, with heavy damage to the front of his 4 truck. And he immediately tows it. He's not even going to try to make it back. Started to see some contact. It looked like it might have been around John Darnell. Yeah, sure enough. So John Darnell getting pushed up top here by Dylan Jones. Dylan not in the series championship either, just out here running for the weekly payouts. But let's see if we can figure out exactly where this goes wrong. Go to the TV follow first. I think it's going to be a sour push here, maybe from Jones. Well, I don't know. It didn't look to me like he was quite there yet. See if we can get any sort of a better angle on this one. Sometimes it's tough to see and tough to judge as well. But I really didn't think that Dylan Jones was there at the time of the impact. You see he's certainly running really, really close. Watch this in slow motion here. Be the judge. I don't think he gets there. It looks to me like John Darnell just kind of gets out of shape. That hot track temp, it's slick out there, and you got to wonder if maybe when he got up by the wall, he tried to jerk the wheel back down, and sometimes when you do that, it gets the truck out of shape. Let's go on board, and I think taking a look and a listen is going to give us the best idea of exactly what this happens here. So he gets up the track. As soon as he turns the wheel down, it immediately starts coming around on him. Watch this in slow motion here. So he gets up the track right there. As soon as he starts turning it down, the truck just starts going around on him. And if we go to the gearbox cam, we can find out for certain. Like I said, Dylan Jones was running close. He was getting ready to give the 99 a push. I could not tell if he was there. This video looking a little different. It looks to me like the 11 may have been there. And if he was, then I think that he maybe just gave John Darnell a little bit of a bad push right on entry to the corner. That's the worst place that you can do it. I think that would be what gets the 99 out of shape right here. So John Darnell slides up a little bit, and then right there, I mean, if there's contact, it's so slight, but doesn't take much on a hot track temp. Once John Darnell gets sideways, gets down, and he hooks the 4 of Justin Mills. Look at this hit. Gets hard into the outside safer barrier before getting tagged by Dylan Jones. And then at this point, this is where this is going to get ugly. Justin Mills gets plowed into by Christopher McCall upside down. It goes vertical with the ground. Jeff Merck checking up big time out back. You see Dustin Carruthers in the 10 sliding in. He's actually able to check up in time. Misses Jeff Merck, who rolls by on the top. And there's the 92 of John Ward getting checked up, as was Ryan Bass. Further back, Tucker McClendon got a little bit of damage after he got ran into from the back. But I think he's okay. Let's take a couple different angles of this one here. First one I want to go to is TV 6. And man, watch Christopher McCall here coming to the picture. He was already turned around from the bottom, goes up and kind of pinches him against the wall. And there's the ride for Justin Mills. One of the craziest flips that we've seen here in a little while at Talladega. And then further back, everybody did a nice job of getting checked up, splitting to the bottom. Everything usually slides down, but it's got to go up before it comes back down. Let's take a ride on board, though, with Justin Mills. This was a blindside hit, too. Nothing he could do about it. Happened out back. They just barely caught him. Boy, he probably got some style points there for airtime. Further back, there's Tucker McClendon getting turned around. Take 2 more looks at this one. First one from the wall cam. Last few here from TV4s. You know, they weren't really racing too much through wide, and Dylan Jones, he had to push hard, of course, to try to make some progress. These guys will take notes from it. Normally, we see that push with no issues. Looks like, though, as of right now, with the hot track temp just not working here tonight. And so as it concludes, that will wrap up your second caution of the night. As we go back up front, already back to the 1-to-go signal, it is Jeff Merck, after missing that wreck, being scored as your leader in Ashburn Billa in second. Garrett Maines 3rd, Zach Range 4th, Ken McCall Jr. in 5th, Michael Triscaro 6th, Logan York in 7th, John Mullihan in 8th, Samuel Carter 9th, and Jason Maines rounding out your top 10. Wanted to see if maybe we could get an interview from one of these guys, one of the teams, and looks like the man running the furthest towards the front right now that is competing for the series championship, as Christian Martinez says, is there a fast pair? There is indeed, Christian, as Jeff Burke had to use his earlier, and then, of course, from that last wreck, Justin Mills going to use his as well. And speaking of Justin Mills, that is Ken McCall Jr.'s teammate, but I wanted to see, I do see Nash Brambilla in here. See if we can pull him up here for just a quick interview. These guys have a ton of channels, so this takes me a little bit longer than I normally would right here. Hey, Nash, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I got you.
Well, new series. You were chosen as one of the team captains. You and your teammate, Logan York, you guys are looking pretty spiffy right now, both running inside the top 15. How you feeling, and what's been the strategy up to this point?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. We're both really aggressive drivers, so I think I could kind of be a good team right here. But yeah, just stay up front, and the real thing is this halfway break. We get $20, so this one lap shootout, and I'm hoping to get this $20 right here.
All right, well, as you guys come around, hey, I didn't know about that, so I appreciate you letting us know. Good luck the rest of the way. We'll see if we're talking to you at the end of this.
Yep, thanks. Have a good call.
All right, and there you go. I didn't even realize these guys had a halfway prize, and just adding to the money here tonight. And so you're going to see a very, very aggressive one-lap shootout. I'm not sure if they're going to throw a caution here at the halfway breaker, if they'll just keep rolling green. I would assume they keep rolling green. But if you're Jeff Merck right now, I think you are staying on the bottom when you got a pusher such as Garrett Maines. But he may have to jump up if that top gets a run, and he's got to control it. Here we go. Green flag back in the air. 22 laps to go. 21 and 1 to go to the halfway mark. Brambilla with a good start right off the get-go. A lot of hard pushing. You know you're going to see 3 wide. Who's going to do it first? Mullihan took a peek out. Quickly jumps back down in line as there was nothing doing. As they work their way through turns 1 and 2, it's Jeff Merck on the bottom, still with Garrett Maines. He gets clear of the top. Does he choose to jump up, or does he stay down? Staying on the bottom for now. Got to be careful. Garrett's going to get clear for just a moment. Is the one truck going to take it? He's not. Still pushing hard. Nash Brambilla, Zach Range now get tandemed up. Garrett Maines going to jump to the top, waiting for the move, and he's going to make it going into turn number 3. And if Nash Brambilla wants a shot at it, he'll have to go 3 wide. We'll see if anybody does it. Coming out of turn 4, they'll have a short shoot and a tribal to determine it. Nash Brambilla still with another good push here to Garrett Maines. 2x2 tandem up front. The third trucks are out of it for now. Who gets to the bumper first? Zach Range is going to get there. So does Logan York. Coming through the tribal. Oh, Merck gets turned hard into the outside wall. Big contact for the 60 as he gets jarred around in sim. Gets tagged again. Second wreck for Merck tonight. And man, he was within probably about 200 yards of getting some extra money, and instead, this is going to bring his night to an end. Saw a couple others involved in this one, and this one actually looks like it's going to be pretty damage heavy. Garrett Maines looks like he's missing a rear bumper. This collected a lot more than I can count right now, so we're going to go back and take a look and start with that. And we'll see if they determine who wins the halfway mark. So here you go. Jeff Merck's on the bottom. Getting a push from Ken McCall Jr. And, oh, man, second time that there's been the same wreck for Jeff tonight, just about. And if you go to the chopper view, I think what happens here is he's getting a really, really heavy push right here from Ken McCall Jr., and as a result, it starts pushing him up the track a little bit. Garrett side drafting as hard as he can. It's pushing him up. That push right there. I think that last little push from Ken McCall Jr., they were already running so tight, I think it sets him up just a little bit. Look how he's slightly offset to the left. So when he hits him, that's going to shoot this truck slightly up to the right, and Garrett Maines is there. They make some contact, and that's going to turn Jeff Merck straight up into the outside safer barrier. Another huge hit. Garrett Maines as well. Nash Brambilla not going to escape this one. He makes some hard contact with the outside wall. Look at the save, though, from Michael Triscaro. Does he get tagged by Brambilla? Ooh, unfortunately, it looks like he does. I think he's going to be able to keep going here through this one, though. And that's just, I don't even know what you call it. Just unfortunate for Jeff Merck, and then he's going to get T-boned here in the back by a couple others here with nowhere to go. See, sliding in right there was the 82. I believe that might have been Josh Gann. No, that's Carl Matz. Another one of the new guys in the field tonight. There's Jeremy Osborne piling in late. John Ward gets ran into hard from behind. Jared Miller also gets some front-end damage. The 04 Christopher McCall arriving late on scene. I don't believe he did get any damage. I think he's okay. Let's take a couple more looks at this one. First one from the restart cam. And man, they were so close to making it there. And we also need to determine who is going to get the win right here. Is it when the caution flew? And I think the best way we can actually see that here is if we go, let's go to the rear chase view of one of the leaders here. It looks like Ken McCall Jr. was leading when they came to the line, but I don't know if that means he's guaranteed to get the stage win, depending on if he was out in front when the caution came out. Here we go. Let's back this up. Watch the lights. He's out in front there. He's out in front there. Lights are out. Back that up one more time. And right there. See the caution flick out, and he is well in front. Logan York in second, but just not enough. So I would assume that Ken McCall Jr. would be awarded the stage. So $20 richer would be the 03. Take a couple different angles of this one here. How about one from the TV follow cam? Actually, we'll go to the spotter view. And you really hate that for Jeff Merck, man. Just absolutely no luck tonight. 2 wrecks, nothing he was doing wrong. Was leading, felt like he was probably in a safe position there on the bottom. Wasn't even the end of the race, but fortunately the nature of the beast is further up. You see another spin. Can't tell exactly who that was, but no contact. So everybody continues on their way. That might have been, was that maybe Mark Von Dell? Looks like it was, yeah, the 59 Mark Von Dell. He got turned by somebody further up, so that's going to cost him some track position, but I don't believe he got any damage. Take a look here at how Mark Von Dell gets turned around. That's Sean Corbett's teammate, one of the KSR racing drivers. And here you go, Mark slipping through it. No harm, no foul, and still good to go. He's never really bails out of the throttle there, though. It's an interesting look for Mark here. Seems like he just kind of stayed in the gas. I'm not sure if he had an issue. Let's take a listen. Yeah, I think he had some sort of issue here. Yeah, because he never even has a chance to let out of the throttle here. I don't know if I think he misses this by pure luck as his wheel just kind of locks up straight. There you see the lockup. Finally gets undone here. That's a really odd look. I think it saved Mark Von Dell initially, but unfortunately hurt him in the back end. But gotta think that was some sort of technical issue for Mark Von Dell in the 59. And so as we go back up front, Ken McCall Jr. being scored as your leader as the lights are off, so that means 1 to go. Zach Range in second, Tyler Vickery in third, Dylan Jones fourth, Danny Barnes in fifth, Garrett Maines back in sixth, Richard Elliott in seventh, Josh Giambrone in eighth, John Darnell in ninth, Carl Matz in 10th, Jason Maines, the teammate of John Darnell, and I was trying to see if those two were running pretty close together. Yeah, Jason Maines not too far behind, make it probably 3 or 4 rows behind John Darnell. John actually looks like he's in chat and says Darnell and Jason Maines. And again, we'll figure these teams out more as they go. And I think once points start to, as we get through a couple races, and once these guys start to accumulate some points, it'll be easier to recognize which team is which. Almost would have been cool if these guys could have ran separate banners. But nonetheless, I love the series so far. And we're going to be coming to a restart here with looks like 17 laps to go. Heading over, taking a look at where we head next. Tuesday night Thunder returns. And it's going to be the round of 8 at Talladega Superspeedway. 4 drivers will be eliminated. 4 looking to make it to the championship. 4 for a chance at some big-time payouts next week. On January 16th. Don't miss out on that one. Dawson Wise joins me in the booth. We are excited for you. You're going to see a lot of the same drivers that you see in here tonight back in that race. But speaking of tonight, we still got some business to take care of. As it looks like, unfortunately, again, for any Jeff Burke fans, he has retired for the night. As Dallas Knox finds himself a lap down in the 99. Not sure what happened to him early, but definitely some struggles as they get ready to pull off. That is Heath Job's teammate. So here we go, back up front and into the restart zone we go. First time Range will be in the front row tonight. Leading the field back to green, though, Ken McCall Jr. will get a push from Dylan Jones. Here we go. Green flag is back in the air. 17 laps to go at Talladega. It's a good start for the outside. Zach Range actually, I think, beat Ken McCall Jr. to the line. Not by much, and now they have a little bit of a new pusher on the outside. It's Tyler Vickery, first time up here, and he is already rolling, looking comfortable, and he's going to have to get pretty comfortable quick. Now he has to bail off the bumper of Zach Range, can't get back there. Richard Elliott not connected either. This will allow Dylan Jones and Garrett Maines to get clear. Garrett Maines, he'll have a choice right here on whether or not he wants to jump up. I think he'll take it. There he goes to the top. Dylan Jones chooses to stay on the bottom and stick with Ken McCall Jr., and look for any similar letters that you see on your scoring pylon right now. It doesn't look like we have a pair of teammates in the top 10 up to this point. Danny Barnes looking for his teammate right now. Nothing doing. I think Jason Maines, John Darnell are the closest two together at the moment. John Mullihan, Aubrey Thompson, they were working together well earlier tonight. Looking to do more of the same. Watch for them to potentially jump out in this third lane if they do get linked up. But up front, Garrett Maines leading with 16 laps to go. Now, important to note, we went back green with 17 to go. This is close on fuel. This is going to be really close for these guys. If they saved enough under caution, they might be good to go. But we are going to run a total of 17 under green here if this thing stays green the rest of the way. So you might have to think about dropping back and saving just about a lap here in order to make it to the end. And then, of course, if we have any overtimes, you're going to want to have some extra fuel for that as well. Up top, there he goes, John Mullihan, the first one to duck out. Initially, looked like John Ward was going to go with him. Nothing doing. John Ward ducks back down in line. Samuel Carter is going to let Mullihan slip back down further back. How about a little single file action? Jason Maines, now he's going to jump to the third lane to try to make something work. We saw a lot of calm racing earlier, not the case anymore. 15 laps to go, the pressure's on. I keep thinking these guys should be good to go on fuel. But man, they're going at it right now. Here comes J.R. Miller on the top with Jason Maines. You got to wonder if John Darnell, I was thinking if he was thinking about jumping up in front of Jason. Couldn't do it in time, but that outside is really starting to roll with 4 trucks. Take a look at the weather outside. Track temp is still 147 degrees. So I think that third lane's going to have a good chance to roll, but you got to wonder, are they going to have expend all their temps by the time they get up here? J.R. Miller now going to draw even with the second place truck on the outside. That is Tyler Vickery. Garrett Maines stuck to the bottom now. Range, a little bit of a bobble, but he's able to keep it together. Coming through the tri-oval, J.R. Miller, he's got to get down, try to get a little bit of side draft. You see Jason Maines running about a quarter lane lower. He's probably in the ear right now. J.R. saying, dude, you have got to get lower here. We're not going to be able to hang even with him in the corners if we run this high. And there you go. There's the adjustment. J.R. Miller is going to drop down a little bit. Hard to do when you're getting a push, but as that outside starts to fade a little bit, Garrett Maines going to jump back up top. He'll let Ken McCall Jr. cool down as Zach Range is now in charge of pushing that middle line. And they are going to be coming to 13 laps to go when we cross the line next time. A little bit further back right now. How about the run that we are seeing from the 49 of Josh Giambro? Talked about doesn't have a teammate out here tonight. And it's all more important that he has a good run. And a lot of momentum going now. The top line, they're going to pick up John Darnell in the 99. He jumps up with the Ghost Racing Network 99 Chevy Silverado. And, oh, they're going to try to split him. Maybe not. J.R. Miller, one of his Team PGR teammates, you would think he sticks with him here. Jason Maines didn't like what he sees, so he quickly bails back down to the bottom. We'll see if he jumps up in front of Darnell. And again, the 99 and the 1 truck, they are direct teammates for this series. So you would kind of expect it, but still not able to get clear just yet. So they will stay side by side further back, but up front, it is still Garrett Maines leading Zach Range with another big push. This should get Garrett back clear. He's been on that top for a while, so he is probably about ready to drop down. He'll let Zach Range cool down a little bit here. Ken McCall Jr. will be back in charge of pushing. Sure enough, there goes the one of Garrett Maines. Further back, you see the 0-2 of Richard Elliott. Haven't talked about Richard too much here tonight. He's got the H. You go down further on the scoring tower looking for his teammate. And not the best run right now for Michael Triscaro. Was solid earlier, but a little bit of trouble, and now finds himself back in that 31st position. Garrett Maines still on the bottom, and it's now Zach Range who found a way to jump to the top. Tyler Vickery still the lead pusher up there, and it's Richard Elliott in third. I was wondering if he would maybe think about 3 wide. Dustin Carruthers back in the 10 truck. You know, he wouldn't mind thinking about jumping out there as well. The 85 of Samuel Carter. But I'm still so curious about what it's looking like for these guys with that pit stop. We're going to be coming to 11 laps to go, and I think if you don't see anybody bring it down to the pits by, I would say probably around lap 10. Oh, contact in the back. Hold that thought. We had one in the wall. It's Tucker McClendon. Slides down now back up into John Ward. Heavy hit for Ward. Triscaro's in it. Caution is back out. The one slides down the track. That's Steve Sizemore. Jeremy Osborne arrives on scene. He'll go around. Man, I saw the 27 getting really out of shape. Thought initially he was going to be able to hold on, but just couldn't do it. There he is on the bottom of the track. Ooh, right front suspension is destroyed, so if he's got a fast pair, he will be using it under this caution. Brings out your 4th one here of the night with 11 laps to go. Let's rewind this a little bit and take a look. This starts all the way down, about halfway down the backstretch. And he was never able to get back in shape, and I'm wondering here, we'll look at the contact first, but I'm thinking that hit into the outside wall on the straightaway maybe broke his suspension. All right, so here you go. We'll go first. I want to see. So he's got the 01 of Joshua McCall behind him here. And we'll go to the chopper view again. And does Josh just give him a little bit of a bad pusher? You see Josh offset a bit to the left. Now he gets offset to the right. And yeah, there is definitely some contact right there. Running on the bottom. It's actually the 29, it looks like. And they're going to make some contact here of Joshua Thornton. And does Josh come up to... Yeah, Josh starts to creep up, but a little bit of damage to the rear of Tucker McClendon. And yeah, it looks to me, honestly, like the 29 right there of Joshua Thornton just comes up the track. I mean, maybe Tucker just slightly, and I mean ever so slightly, moves down right at the last second there, but I think that was because he was getting pushed. But yeah, overall, Thornton just starting to wash up right here, and he's going to get into Tucker McClendon. This sends him sideways, and then now Tucker McClendon in the middle. Joshua McCall trying to check up. Instead, hooks him a little bit in the right rear. That sends Tucker into the outside wall. Tries to save it in. Actually, I take that back. I think it just looks like he maybe gets a little too antsy with the steering wheel. It looked like the truck was actually straightening itself out for him. I think he got a little bit too antsy with it. We'll go on the cockpit view, and then unfortunately took what looked like was a truck that was straightened out and got it right back sideways. And it's hard to do as a driver. By no means am I trying to say this was a save that he should have made. This is really tough to do, but he gets down and maybe thought he was going to run into traffic. Didn't want to do that. But then you see the hard hits from Michael Triscaro, John Ward, Steve Sizemore, all those guys with nowhere to go. Take a couple different looks at this one. I want to see if John Ward had piled in. So you see there's heavy damage on the front of that 92 truck. I'm amazed that he was actually keeping up with this pack at all. And no front end, no rears. But there it is, and boom, gets T-boned before he slides down. Talked about Michael Triscaro also had absolutely nowhere to go through this one. Take a look at it from the TV follow cam. There's the big shot. Michael Triscaro might have slid through that, but he got clipped, and when you get clipped, you can't steer it anymore, and that's pretty heavy front end damage to the 34. That might be a fast repair for him as well. Take one more look at this from the wall cam. And so on average, we've already had what has been one caution per 10 laps here tonight, and we still have just under 10 laps to go. When we go back green, it'll probably be about 8 laps to go. Jason Main's currently leading. Garrett Main second. Ken McCall Jr. back in third. Zach Range fourth. Dylan Jones fifth. Richard Elliott sixth. Tyler Vickery in seventh. Danny Barnes eighth with Dustin Carruthers in ninth. And Josh Gambrone still with a good run. He is rounding out your top 10. So Jason on the bottom, looking for his teammate John Darnell, currently pretty far back, not inside the top 10 at least. So he'll have some work. Garrett Mains as well, looking for Jeremy Osborne if he can find his teammate. And as well, he's going to have to look back outside the top 10. In fact, outside the top 20. Two closest together running guys right now is Samuel Carter and David Sheets. They are both bumper to bumper, and as they line up, they'll be side by side. And a couple other close runners for the moment. Looks like actually Mark Vondell and Sean Corbett, they are going to line up bumper to bumper for this restart. We'll see what they can do. But indeed, it is going to be an 8 lap to go. Restarters will get the 1 to go this time. We are going to take a quick side-by-side break. We will be back for the conclusion of race 1 of 9 for the Little Dog Big Dog Series. Stick with us. Front, now we're going to see a little 4-wide action.
Crazy out of the triangle.
Oh, he gets over it in the lead under record.
3 by 3 entering 4.
3-2. At the flag stand, side by side, it's going to be Jason Mains winning it at Talladega. Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway, getting ready for what could potentially be the final restart of the night. Put a quick poll up, by the way, if you guys want to vote on it. Will we see any of these team duos find a way to finish 1-2? Seems pretty unlikely with 16 different teams, 32 drivers running for the series, and a total tonight of 37. Strong field as always. Late night money racing coming to an end. 8 laps to go at Talladega. Green flag back in the air. Good start for Garrett Maines. He'll get clear here probably before they even get down to turn number 1. Jason Maines trying to hang even on the bottom. He's not going to be able to do it. That'll push Ken McCall Jr. back to the 3rd truck on the bottom. Just as he gets trapped, Jason actually able to push Garrett right back up to the top. And so as he drops low, Ken McCall Jr. going to get to his back bumper to lend some aid. Further back, here goes the 3 wide. It is McCall Motorsports. They may not be direct teammates here tonight, but they are teammates overall. They know how to push each other. That is exactly what they are doing. David Sheets on the outside. Just behind him, John Mullahan, the 04 of Christopher McCall in this all as well. And they will hang 3 by 3 for now. 2 by 2 though at the front. Those 3 trucks should start rolling with a really hot track temp as it's been just about all night. Jason Maines still on the bottom. Garrett in the middle. John Ward, if he gets clear, he might jump up to the top. Can't seem to do anything just yet. And actually, back in 19th here, as we go back a little bit further, Heath Job in the 760. Similar paint scheme for a couple of the hyper guys. And so I was wondering, that may have not been John Ward. That may have been one of the newer guys. I think John Ward is further towards the back, but nonetheless, they are still 3 by 3. And yeah, that is one of the newer hyper drivers, it looks like here. Figure out exactly who this is in just a moment. Got to ride through all this mess. Take a look here with Samuel Carter in the 17 machine. As he's got Logan York just in front. When you're in the middle like this, there's not much you can do besides try to hold a straight line and hope for the best. Things are tight. That's actually the 7 of Danny Barnes. You see, they're all running similar schemes, but he is paired up tonight with Christopher McCall, as he will be for the rest of the season. And those 2 teammates now both inside the top 10. Christopher McCall up in 6 and up 28 positions. When we started this race, Ken gets on the apron, going to fan out 4 wide for just a moment. Everybody able to regroup. There's still 4 wide. Sheets in the middle of range. They're getting tight. It's not going to work. Contact. Sheets gets up into Osborne. They're going to wreck. Maybe not. There it is. Richard Elliott hard into the wall. He'll get turned around. The rest of the field's going to miss it. No caution yet. There the yellow is as it finally flies. Richard Elliott comes to a grinding halt on the apron. And oh my goodness. Just in front of him, Aubrey Thompson is totaled as well. And those 2 trucks will go for repairs. And man, what happened? Tyler Vickery, just maybe after the caution, he came to a stop. Let's go back and take a look at this wreck. It ended up only being 2 trucks in what looked like it was initially going to be a whole lot more. This was a pretty wild one. Let's back this up. Take a look at it. This actually starts all the way back in the tri-oval here. They're going to fan out 3 and then get ultimately 4 wide due to a sour move or a sour push somewhere here, I believe. So you see Ken McCall Jr. on the bottom. And then, that's what happens there. You see Jason actually wash up here. And I'm not sure if this was from the push or if Jason wanted to move up. Let's see if we can go to the chopper view. See Ken McCall Jr. just behind Jason. That's hard to tell if it was a push. I think what may have happened here Ken's on him there, but it looks like a square push. I think Jason actually was going to jump up. And right as he went to jump up, David Sheets was coming to jump down. They both realize David Sheets goes to bail a little bit. Jason Maines goes to do the same. That's what knocks Ken McCall Jr. low. And as a result, it's going to split them. They're going to go 4 wide. Sheets in the middle. As they get into 1 here, things are just going to condense. Zach Range now gets 4 wide. You see Based maybe not realizing that they got 4 wide. Gets down into David Sheets. That gets him back into Zach Range. They start ping-ponging around. Sheets gets up into Osborne. Aubrey Thompson's going to drop low to try to miss this. As a result, gets into Richard Elliott. And then now just starting to get out of shape, trying everything to save it, but gets back into the 0-2, and eventually it's just going to hook Richard around. There's the big shot for both of those trucks, and then somehow everybody else is going to just about miss this. You see Michael Triscaro with a little bit of damage, nothing too bad, and then sliding down there. A little bit more contact, I believe. Go back, take another view at that. Here's a look from the TV follow. The 29 getting involved as well. And nothing really Richard Elliott or Aubrey Thompson could do. Everybody's trying to miss it. They almost actually managed to all save. This was really impressive initially, but it just unfortunately doesn't quite work out. There's the 06 of David Sheets, the 41. Jeremy Osborne just behind as he gets turned up. Boom. blows the front of that truck off. David Sheets made more contact, somehow saved it. Let's go take a ride on board through a couple guys that actually missed this. First one looks like in chat we got a request for John Darnell, and I'm thinking this was a pretty close call. I didn't even see him there in the replay, and that makes me think that it was that close of a call that he was blended in with the wreck. Let's go take a ride on board here. John Darnell, the cockpit view. And actually, here he goes. They get into one. He sees him wrecking, stays up top, gets on the brakes. It's going to go low, high, trying to figure out, take a guess. Goes low again, sees him wrecking up top. And that was a nice piece of driving to dodge all that. And then there's the second wreck here on the backstretch. That's what turns, oh my goodness. And there's the second close call right there. Holy cow. That was actually the 124. I thought that was Tucker McClendon. That was not. That was the 124 of Tyler Vickery. I'm not sure what exactly got him spun around, so we'll take one final view of this kind of second wreck. And that's off the bumper of Zach Range. Caution was out at this point, and Range just kind of pushed him in the corners, makes contact, makes more contact. When he gets turned back up, T-bones him. It's a pretty hard hit for the 124 truck. So as we go back live, this is going to bring us to a restart with it looks like 2 laps to go. I think it's going to be a natural green-white checkered. Jason Maines being scored as your leader. Garrett Maines in second. Ken McCall Jr. third. Dylan Jones in fourth. And John Mullihan rounding out your top 5 in the chat. Looks like we got a super chat from Harbor Freight Cup Series with the $199 donation. Harbor Freight, we appreciate that a bunch. Thank you for donating. Thank you even more for watching. Glad that you are enjoying the broadcast tonight. And while no means am I going to tell you that you can't do it, I would say in your best interest, as much as we love that you like the broadcast and you're donating, keep it and just let us know that you like it next time through either comment, subscription, or whatever you want to do. Follow us or whatever. It's just a little bit easier as we used to do the super chats actually quite a bit. Quick little side tangent. Back over the PGR days, we made quite a bit off of it. And Matthew Baker, Dawson Wise, anybody that would join me in the booth, made sure to try to split it. But I'm not sure what was going on, but we did the math. And had over $300-400 lined up in there, and I never saw much of it, so kind of gave up on it. I wasn't able to pay the guys that were helping make it, and I'm not going to sit here and keep having people donate something that we don't know where it's going to. So as much as I appreciate Harbor Freight, next time, man, just let us know that you're enjoying it through the comments. All right, 2-lap shootout. Seems like it comes down to this each and every week, regardless of the money series. It's exactly what it's going to come down to here tonight. Garrett Maines on the outside, Jason Maines on the inside. I'll tell you what, Jason's due for one here. We know he's got the talent, gets to the front, but it's been a little while, I feel like, for the one truck. Tonight, maybe going to be his night. Don't count out some of the teammates that are running pretty close together. Trying to see if you had any of them paired right now in the top 10, and it doesn't look like you quite have that. You got a couple of them running relatively close further back. But Garrett Maines still looking for Jeremy Osborne. Jason Maines looking a little bit further back. So we'll see what happens here. And Michael Triscaro back in 24th. Been involved in a couple wrecks late. Don't cut out the 24 or the 34, though. He might be able to claw his way back up to the front before this thing's all said and done. As we go even further back, there's the 33. Excuse me, I'm about to go a little bit further back here. That's actually the 02 of Richard Elliott. Kenneth Stamper back here as well. Remember, top 4 pays out here tonight, so this is not quite over just yet. You're not going to see these guys settle down and just run this thing out for just season points. They want to go home with some money tonight. I believe it's $100 to the top 4. So watch this action continue to heat up. They're going to be fanning out 3 wide through this first lap. But if we can make it around one time and take the white flag, then this race will be official. All right, here we go. Pace car going to make the hard left turn onto the pits, potentially for the final time here of the night. Through the tribe we go. Jones, the lead pusher on the outside. Ken McCall Jr. on the bottom. Into the Geico restart zone they go. Green flag is back in the air. Another good even start from the 2 Maines guys. Just behind Dylan Jones, so I think he gets off to a little bit of a better push. That'll hold Garrett even. Jason will start to charge back as they dive down into turn number 1. The backstretch, though, this is going to be the big telltale sign right here. Whoever gets the run is probably going to get the advantage. Going to the spotter stand. How about we go to the TV follow? Watch if this outside stays lined up. Right now, it's 2 versus 3. Christopher McCall, though, he's going to fade a little bit now. It's a 2-on-2 tandem. Which third truck gets to the bumper first? It's going to be Christopher McCall. Garrett Maines wants to get clear of the bottom. He can't do it just yet. And he's not going to be able to. Jason Maines hangs even. It is all push. Does the hot track temp affect these guys? Usually you can push for 2 laps without bailing out, but you got to wonder, if you get too hot here, do you have to bail out or do you stay in it and hope it doesn't blow up? We're getting ready to find out. More moves being made out back. Brambilla jumps to the bottom behind Danny Barnes. Through the trial they come. Here we go. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go at Talladega. Garrett Maines this time, it looks like he got clear going to the wand, wrecking out back. Couldn't tell who all was involved. Looks like whoever it was just one up front though. Garrett Maines was able to get clear. He jumps to the bottom. That'll give Dylan Jones a chance to cool and give Christopher McCall a chance to push this 11 all the way to lead. Wrecking even bigger out back now. But up front, the 20-car pack is still alive and well. Jason Maines, he'll jump to the outside. Dylan Jones is lined up. Garrett Maines is going to need all Ken McCall Jr. has right here. How many temps does the 03 have left? Garrett Maines on the bottom, Jason Maines up top. This could come all the way down to the start-finish line. Another big push. Garrett starting to fishtail. Ken McCall Jr. gets turned out of line. He saves it, but he's got to come back up. He does further up, though. Jason Maines, he'll get clear of the bottom. So does Dylan Jones. Is there one more move? There is not. Jason Maines will win race 1 at Talladega. What a win for the one. Talked about he was due, and he fulfilled. Looking back for his teammate John Darnell, I believe he was involved in that wreck, but brings home a 15th place finish. So overall, not too bad for the first race. I think the two that had the most, or the closest to the front finish, might have been Logan York and Nash Brambilla. You see they're 6th and 8th. But Jason Maines is your winner tonight, and he's going to be pretty excited about it. Let's go back here and take a look. Coming to that checkered flag. Actually, let's go back to the white flag and see what causes this wreck that we saw towards the back of the field. Looks like Joshua McCall may have been one of the first ones involved. So as they take the white flag, I think Josh was actually the truck that we saw get spun out of line. Yeah, him and Range get together out back. Josh gets sent down the track. And I think, is he going to be able to check up before this thing's all said and done? He does before he comes back up. And then Aubrey Thompson further up. They just start wrecking. Guys getting into each other, racing for position. And this was probably about 20th on back. Then up front, 2x2. Jason Maines made the move to the outside. Dylan Jones stayed loyal at the end. Christopher McCall, though, with a big push. He played just as big of a role in that as Dylan Jones did. But, man, Ken McCall Jr. was pushing for everything he's worth right here. Things are just going to start to tighten up, though. And I'm not sure, does he get turned from behind here by John Mullahan? I think he was trying to get up here and help. There's Ken McCall Jr. Yep, right there. I was wondering if he just ran out of temps, but no, I think he gets a little bit of help from his teammate. He has a phenomenal save, but unfortunately for Garrett, that loses all the help on the outside. And from that point, Jason Maines just had to do a 1 block to the bottom. And then right here, Christopher McCall starts to get a run, but just not enough. They wreck out back, and the margin of victory for Jason Maines, probably about a truck and a half. So he gets it done and gets it done by plenty. So he wins race 1 of 9. He's going to burn it down right there with his teammate John Darnell, who likes what he has seen. We talked about the finish for Darnell, and let's talk about the finish for the rest of the field as we take a look at your final results here for the night. Jason Maines gets the win. Dylan Jones brings home 2nd. Christopher McCall in 3rd. Garrett Maines 4th. Logan York back in 5th. Ryan Baste in 6th. Danny Barnes 7th. Nash Brambilla 8th. John Mullahan in 9th. Samuel Carter in 10th. Larry McDonald back in 11th. Dustin Carruthers in 12th. Josh Gambrone in 13th. Ken McCall Jr. in 14th. John Darnell in 15th. Heath Jobe back in 16th. Sean Corbett in 17th. Tyler Vickery in 18th. Let's move this on back a little bit further. Rounding out your top 20 tonight is actually going to be Tucker McClendon and Richard Elliott. John Ward 21st. Dallas Knox 22nd. Steve Sizemore in 23rd. Michael Triscaro 24th. Joshua Thornton in 25th. David Sheets 26th. Carl Matz 27th with Jeremy Osborne in 28th. Kenneth Stamper 29th. And Aubrey Thompson rounding out your top 30. Zach Range 31st. Joshua McCall 32nd. J.R. Miller 33rd. Mark Vondell 34th. Justin Mills 35th. Jeff Merck 36th. And Devin Ray, I don't think he had an issue. I don't think he didn't even make the start of the race. He rounds out the field and finishes 37th here tonight. All right, well, we are going to go get your top 3 in here for interviews. Stick with us. We'll be right back at Talladega. Back live at Talladega Superspeedway. Going to start first here tonight with your third place finisher, Christopher McCall. Hey, Chris, this is also up in the booth. You got a copy?
I gotcha.
Well, you bring home a third place finish tonight. You played just as big of a part as Dylan Jones in that last lap. The third truck ultimately led to a big push that helped get that outside clear. But overall, new series here tonight. How'd you feel about it?
I felt pretty good. I got involved in one wreck early, and I didn't have a fast repair, so I was a little more timid than I probably should have been. Took too long to get to the front. But I feel good to be able to finish on a podium. It's a good start. With this format, it's going to be, I think it's going to be pretty user-friendly. We should be able to get a good chance to get locked in here in the next couple weeks.
We know that with the new series, you don't get to work with all the teammates like you usually do, more focused on the one teammate that you have with you here tonight. And how did you guys kind of work together? Was there any strategy that you can take into next week when we head to Daytona?
No, we just pretty much run our own race. We stayed near each other the whole time. If we would have got hooked up, we would have. But it was pretty much waiting to see what everybody else was going to do. And then by the time you go, I mean, you got to go in these races. You get a run, you take it, you need to get track position. So, we just kind of see how it plays out at the end. Dustin's a good one, and he'll be around at the end of these races. So hopefully we get hooked up here soon.
Certainly was. Well, KSR McCall Motorsports, good run for you in total here tonight. Before we let you head out, is there anyone you would like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I got to thank all these drivers that joined this series. It was some real fun racing tonight. I mean, I know we had a couple cautions, but it was pretty fun. And I got to thank you for coming on and broadcasting this race. Thank everybody at McCullough Motorsports for all the hard work and getting everything set up. And I got to thank all the family that watches. Thank you for your support.
Thank you for talking to us. Congrats again on the third place finish, and we will see you next week. All right, and now that will bring us, well, actually looks like your second place finisher currently not in here tonight, so we will move straight on to the man of the hour, Jason Maines. Jason, this is Austin in the booth. You got a copy? And we will try him again here. Hey, Jason, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy? And I see him trying to get unmuted here, as we were waiting to see if Dylan Jones would hop in here as well. Doesn't look like we will, so wait just another minute to see if we can get an interview here with the first place driver. And there we go. Looks like he does it. Jason Maines. All right, so here we go. Jason, you get the win here tonight. I was talking about, man, we know you always got the talent. You're always at the front, but it seems like it's been a little while since we've seen you make your way into victory lane. Do it with confidence tonight. You were at the front most of the nights, and your teammate John Darnell, not too bad of a finish either, just outside the top 10 by a handful of spots. Tell us about your night. And don't hear Jason anymore. Jason, can you still hear us?
You got me?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it's the push to talk. I have to program it in here. Yeah, so the race is pretty much, it was so hot, I feel like you get buried. I'd pushed a couple of people up almost to the lead on the third lane, and then you were melting on temp, so I had to put a little bit of strategy there. I'd watch Garrett up there, and I feel like he wasn't going to, he was in a good position per se, so I had to do some strategy, and it worked out. I've just had horrendous luck. You know that I do. You can be 28th on the last lap and the C's part open and you win. So, but it was great. I had Kenny behind me, so I trusted him, and then I had Dylan, and which I work with all the time, and Garrett, obviously. So at the end, I feel like all of them were going to use their heads, and if Garrett beat me or Kenny beat me, it didn't matter. We just racing for the top 5, and it worked out.
We know it's a point series. You're going to set yourself up in pretty good position with the win here tonight. Does that change the approach at all in the next couple weeks? I know we go to Daytona and then Atlanta. And how do you try to help your teammate maybe get a couple better finishes here in the next couple weeks and just continue to stretch maybe a points lead?
Well, the way Kenny's doing this, it's actually not a points thing. It's, from my understanding, it's winning you're in, your team is in. So Darnell's in. So I'm just going to have fun and push yous up there and look at where the money pays, and at that point try to position myself for Darnell into that area and push some people that pushed me tonight, and have the hope they can have a good night from the help.
There you go, Todd. That's something we didn't know here before the race. Good finish for you. Good finish for your teammate. Before we let you go, is there anyone you would like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I always thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. that's what we're here for, and everything we do is for him. I got to thank Garrett, Dylan, and Kenny there at the end, and some other people in the race that pushed a lot of give and take there. And thank Lennox Industries, Bradley Mechanical for all they've done, and look forward to some future stuff coming up. And thank you guys for doing the broadcast, and Kenny for putting on the race.
Thank you for talking to us. Sounds like a plan. Congrats on the win, and we will see you next week.
Thank you, sir.
That's Jason Maines, the driver of the one truck, who gets the win here tonight. It was a fun race. Can't wait to see what the rest of the series has in store. I believe we'll be back next week. We'll have confirmation on that later in the week. Don't forget to join us Tuesday for round 8 of the playoffs and Tuesday Night Thunder. Thank you all so much for coming out. I hope you enjoyed. And until next time, have a good night.